This is Rock and Roll English. Real people, real English. Here's your host, Martin Johnston.
Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Rock and Roll English. Episode number 94, I believe, because the site's not working again at the weekend. Fucking hell. Sorry about that. I am trying to resolve it. I'm not very good with computers. It's a lot of hassle speaking to people, so hassle is like bother. But I am trying, so sorry about that. In today's show, I speak to Boom Boom Cannon about buses and coaches. I know that doesn't sound interesting, but believe me, we rock this baby. Anyway, before the podcast, I would like to say sorry again for anyone that listened to that ridiculous podcast I made last week about donations. Since the moment I published it, I honestly have not stopped thinking about how ridiculous it was and how terrible I feel. As I said on the next podcast, many people asked me about donations. I never knew how to handle the situation, so how to manage the situation, as I don't really feel comfortable about talking about money, really. So I finally decided to do it, and I did it in the most ridiculous, stupid, worst way possible. I actually said to Mrs. Rock and Roll English what I was planning to do, and she said, "Are you sure about this?" And I actually responded, "No, not at all, but I want to do it and then I'll think about it." Anyone with half a brain will realise that is not good advice, okay? It's better to think about stuff before. Anyway, I hope regular listeners will know that I'm not such a terrible person. And obviously, I hope you understand I'm not driven by money. I've been making this podcast for a year and a half. Present perfect continuous there. Oh yeah, started in the past, still in progress. So yeah, I've been making this podcast for a year and a half for free, and I will keep doing so, okay? Don't worry. I hope we can move on from this now, as I could keep saying sorry, but that would probably be a bit boring. Nobody died. I'm still here. You're still here. I'm still rocking, and I hope you are going to rock with me. So let's draw a line under that and move on to the show. Remember, all of the rock and roll vocabulary is on the website, rockandrollenglish.com. Go there, not during the weekend, find the vocabulary and try to use the vocabulary. Anyway, here is the conversation with me and Boom Boom Cannon. Happy listening. Boom Boom Cannon, how are you today?
Martin, I'm good. How are you?
Always fantastic, Boom Boom. Always fantastic. So since we last spoke, have you heard anything else about the Royals?
I've been trying to avoid it, really.
They've already gone out of the news, actually, haven't they? There's like ups and downs with that lot, isn't there?
Yeah, it's gone. It's, everyone's all over it, and they love it. But I guess Harry and Meghan are on their honeymoon now. I don't know. Probably just a weekend away in Cornwall or something.
I'm sure. I cannot wait to see the photos of the honeymoon, I tell you that. Hopefully in all the gossip magazines, that'll be great. Maybe she's changed bikini, something like that. Oh, God, it's going to be fantastic.
Absolutely.
Anyway, Boo Boo, how do we usually start the show?
Start with a review.
Do you think we have a review?
I'm going to say yes.
Incorrect. We're a bit stuck in a rut at the moment. Oh, some rock and roll vocabulary there. We're in a bad run, let's say. A few weeks now with no review. I keep asking you though, Boom Boom, where's your review? The fake review.
I haven't done it yet. I'm just fake reviews. I don't know. I need to work on it. I'll come up with one. If we haven't got one for next time round, definitely it'll be my fake review.
Okay, well, I can't wait to hear that. Much like the photos of Harry and Meghan. Some rock and roll vocabulary there, though, when you said, "I'll come up with one." We use this for, like, ideas. So you take your time to think about that, Boom Boom.
Will do.
Anyway, do you know what we're talking about today?
I don't. No, you've kept me in the dark.
Oh, there's some rock and roll vocabulary again there, kept you in the dark. I haven't told you. I haven't, but don't worry, the waiting is over. I know you've been waiting for this moment all week.
I have.
Of course. We're talking about something which sounds quite boring, which is buses and coaches. Okay, so a coach is like a nicer version of a bus, let's say. And the reason we are doing this is because I had a bit of a crazy coach ride the other day. I had to fly to Rome. I spent a day in Rome. I flew from Rome to Bari. Spent all day in Bari, and then at 9:30 at night took a bus or coach from Bari to Palermo. Just the 9 hours overnight.
Wow. Wow.
That was fantastic. But I've been walking around all day. Some past perfect continuous there, boom, boom. Have you ever heard of that before?
I'm going to say yes, but just don't test me on it.
So when I said I had been walking around, some past perfect continuous. Oh, yeah. I've been walking around all day, and I thought, I'll get on the coach, have a good kip. Oh, what does that mean, boom, boom? Kip.
It means a nice sleep.
A nice sleep. And then a woman got on the coach, sat behind me. She had a cat, and I already thought something. I don't like this.
It's not your typical kind of luggage for a bus journey, is it?
Exactly. It's not so often I travel with my cat. And I thought, oh, okay, that's fine. She sat down. She was moving around a lot for about 5 minutes. I thought, it's okay. She's just trying to get comfortable. I'm already like my eyes closed, nodding off. Oh, some more rock and roll vocabulary. What does nodding off mean? Boom.
Nodding
boom.
off. Getting to sleep. Like you're almost there. You're not quite asleep, but yeah, you're almost.
Exactly.
Almost.
I'm almost there. Next thing you know, she switches on her phone. I imagine it was already on. She started watching a video on her phone with no headphones, so everybody could hear.
Oh.
And I was honestly, I had my eyes closed. I was just thinking, is this happening? Are you actually serious? What is going through your mind to think this coach is full? There's lots of people here. You're watching a video. Does it not enter your head? Maybe this is annoying someone.
Wow. What was the video? What was she watching?
Oh, I've got no idea. And I sort of waited for probably about 2-3 minutes, thinking, in a minute she's going to switch it off. And then nothing happened. I thought, I can't do this. I have to say something. I can't suffer for this long. So I turned around and said, excuse me, do you need any headphones? Sort of a polite way to say, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah. And quite a British way of approaching that particular issue.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't want to just say, look, what the fuck are you doing? So I said, excuse me, do you need any headphones? And then she said, is the noise bothering you? I thought, I wanted to say, what the fucking hell do you think? I'm trying to sleep and you're watching a video so I can hear. That gave me the inspiration. So obviously a while back we looked at the tube. So I thought we can move to a different part of transport. I know you love transport, boom boom.
Any transport. I'm comfortable with all forms of transport. Yeah.
Exactly. Maybe next week or a few weeks later we can talk about trams.
Trams. Trams are the underrated form of transport, actually, if you ask me. The tram. Yeah.
Absolutely. So I've got some etiquette here of rules that people need to follow on like buses and coaches. Okay. And remember, etiquette are like unwritten rules. And so I've got this as usual from a stupid website. And the first rule is try not to touch anyone. And I thought the important thing for that there for me is the word try, because just do your best.
Yeah.
If you touch someone's arse every now and again, don't worry, it happens.
As long as you've tried.
Exactly.
So, did you touch anyone on that bus journey? Well, yeah, I tried not to, but I did.
But then there was just this woman next to me. She had a lovely arse, and I just had to touch it. Yeah, well, if you tried, don't worry. That's all we could ask. Although one thing I do find strange when you are on public transport, when it's obviously very busy and you have to then sort of touch people, it's very strange how you can move from something very, never touch anyone, as opposed to having sometimes your arm, it can be very near, like a woman's breasts, which is always a difficult one to approach.
It is. You have to be careful. I think you. It's a bit of a minefield. The old touching on. I just say, if you can, avoid it.
Exactly. Nice rock and roll vocabulary there when he said it's a bit of a minefield, which is an area where there are like lots of bombs. So you walk one way, you stand on a bomb, and it's a metaphor here. So there are bombs everywhere. There's arses, tits, everywhere.
Exactly. It's an arse and tit field, minefield.
Exactly. So moving on to the next point. Again, remember, this is etiquette for the bus and coach. The point is wash regularly. And I thought, is this just for buses, or
this is just good general life advice?
Exactly.
This is not, but just don't touch people who don't want to be touched and wash regularly. That's just good general life advice.
In the wash regularly, they said, wear deodorant. I thought, okay, thanks. Not just washing, wear deodorant. Thank you very much. Although I have actually seen some articles recently, because for the Full Volume podcast, we often look at crazy news stories. And two of the ones I found, one was a plane had to make an emergency landing because someone stank so much. So what does it mean if someone stank, Boom Boom?
That's they smell very badly.
Yeah. So how bad could that person have smelt for the plane to say, we can't fly anymore, we need to hit the ground?
Wow. I mean, I'd say that's extreme smelliness, isn't it? That's probably, yeah.
Extreme smelliness, exactly.
Yeah.
Hopefully, though, the person that did that, hopefully will listen to this podcast. Now we've given him the advice of wash regularly and wear deodorant. Hopefully he will listen, okay? And it won't happen.
No one had ever told him. You need to
Exactly.
You need to wash regularly and wear some deodorant. He didn't know.
Exactly. Maybe we need to tell him some other stuff as well, like breathe. I don't know. That's useful.
Yeah. What else doesn't he know?
Eat, drink every now and again. But the next story I found, quite similar, was a plane again had to make an emergency landing because someone refused to stop farting. So remember, farting is when you go... but I like the way he refused to stop. Look, that really smells. Can you stop? No. I'm going to keep on farting. I'm bringing this plane down, baby.
I mean... you must have already farted quite noticeably to be... I've never been asked in any situation to, please stop. So that's quite extreme.
Oh, exactly. And the other thing I thought was strange is, how do you do that in a continuous way, like non-stop? It's
Yeah. I've been asked, no, I'm not going to do that, and here's another one.
Yeah, exactly. Like 10 minutes farting. Surely, after 10 minutes, you don't need to fart anymore. But I don't know. Obviously, he did. So there's another one. Don't fart on public transport. That can be embarrassing too. So another one is don't sit next to anyone unless you have to. What do you think about that, Boo Boo?
Yeah, I'd say that's a rule I stick to on most forms of public transport.
Absolutely. There's nothing worse. Well, when you're sitting on a bus and then there's loads of seats and someone sits down next to you and you think, oh, for fuck's sake, what am I supposed to do now? If I move, it's embarrassing.
You just know if that person has taken that decision when they had the option of a seat not next to you, that there's something fishy going on.
Yeah, is that some real rock and roll vocabulary? Something fishy, something strange. Similar thing to the woman with the cat. As soon as I saw her with the cat, I thought there's something fishy going on here.
Yeah.
This is not, I don't know if I like this. This thing, though, of not sitting next to anyone when there are plenty of spaces available. You and I took this to an extreme once, Boom Boom. When we were in Thailand. Do you remember this?
I do, yeah. In fact, as soon as you said we're going to talk about buses and coaches, I thought this story might come up.
Yeah. So Boom Boom and I were in Thailand, 2004, I think it was.
Yeah, a long time ago.
I think we were the first people there, because now it's sort of quite popular to go to Thailand, but we were the pioneers, really, the first people.
No one had ever been.
No one. Absolutely no one in the world. So we were in Bangkok, and we had to take a 12-hour bus from Bangkok down to the islands. We got on this bus. There was no one on there except two good-looking girls at the front. Well, I say good-looking. I don't think we even saw them.
I have no idea if they were good-looking. They were girls.
They were girls. So Boom Boom and I were already thinking there's a possibility they want to have sex with us. We definitely want to have sex with them. So they were on the front row and had two seats next to them. But we didn't want to sit there because we thought, it'd be embarrassing. It'd be too obvious that we want to have sex with them. So we sat in another seat. Well, one thing I forgot to mention here is the front row seats had lots of legroom, loads of legroom.
Yeah, this is the key point to this story.
Yeah. Very, very fundamental.
Yeah, they were the best seats on that bus.
Yeah, best seats. But we chose not to sit there because we thought, well, it could be obvious we're sitting next to girls. It could be strange. So we sat in other seats with no legroom and suffered for 12 hours. Basically because, I don't know, we didn't want to talk to girls. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that was kind of the and if that was our aim, we achieved that aim very successfully because
yeah,
We did not talk to them.
Very strange situation, just suffering, just thinking, why didn't we sit next to them? We wouldn't have even had to speak to them, but we just suffered for 12 hours. And I also remember after about an hour, someone on the seat the other side of us was sick. Okay, so it just stank of vomit for an hour.
Yeah, I think we chose those other seats with the lack of leg room, and then I think the good seats filled up very, very quickly, as you'd expect, before the bus, the coach had even started going, really. I think we very quickly thought, why have we done this?
Yeah. Well, then we thought, there's only 12 hours to go.
Yeah.
So
we've only got to think about the decision we've just made for the next 12 hours. But, we didn't in any way interrupt those girls' journey.
Exactly. They had a peaceful journey, so lucky them. Okay.
Didn't bother them at all.
Didn't bother at all. So moving on from that one, another one is when people are listening to music on their phones and they have their headphones, but it's so loud, everyone can still hear that. It's like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, that's just bad behaviour.
Bad behaviour. And even worse than that is when someone's got their phone and they're just playing music. They're just saying to the whole bus, look, okay, I love this music and you've all got to listen.
Such bad etiquette, that one. Yeah.
Very, very much so. And I specifically remember once, actually, because this happens a lot, used to happen a lot in London when I lived in London. And then I moved to Italy, and I specifically remember the first time I saw someone do that in Italy. And I remember thinking to myself, so dickheads exist here as well. It's not just London. Dickheads are like all around the world.
That's kind of good. It's kind of nice to know, in a way.
Yeah, it was reassuring to know it's not just like, complete dickheads in London. They also exist in all parts of the world. So
yeah, you've got dickheads too. We've got plenty of dickheads here in Sweden. So yeah,
exactly, fantastic. So another one is to remove your backpack or your bag when you're inside a crowded bus, because obviously your bag can go in people's faces, and it's not the best having a bag in your face. Better to have probably tits in your face, probably, isn't it?
If I had to choose one or the other, yeah, but you're less worried about accidentally touching the bag. So
that's also a good point. There's positives to the bag as well. It's positives to both of them. Positives to both. And the main reason as well is so people don't nick your stuff. Oh, so rock and roll vocabulary there. What does nick mean, Boom Boom?
Nick. To steal.
Steal, yeah, exactly. I actually remember being on a bus in Palermo once, and I had my bag sort of in front of me, then in a safe position, and I felt someone's hand go into the bag, and I moved their hand away. But then, obviously, the bus continued, and I was still standing within about 3 centimetres of this person. Am I supposed to say something now? Do I have to say, can you please not try to steal my money? I would appreciate it if you didn't try and steal my money.
Yeah, just like get the hand away, and then just, because you're there a minute later, just be like, so anyway, I'm Martin. How are you? Who are you? Should we be mates?
Maybe go out for a beer after this. Where are you getting off the bus? We get off together and go out for a beer or something. Yeah, it'd be great.
Let's get to know each other.
Yeah, luckily that didn't happen, actually, in the end. So another one is to give up your seat to people in need. Obviously, we spoke about this recently on the Tube one. We spoke about tactics of not giving your seat to pregnant women. Clarification Charlie actually contacted me about this. Wasn't very happy about me saying I didn't like giving up my seats to pregnant women.
Really?
I would just like to say, though, once I was on crutches. What are crutches, Boom Boom?
Crutches, they're the support, arm supports that you need if you've, sort of, say, broken your leg, for example.
Exactly. My ankle was broken. I got on a bus. Nobody on the bus gave up their seat for me, okay?
Oh, wow.
So, what goes around comes around, people. Oh, some more rock and roll vocabulary there. What does that mean, Boom Boom? What goes around comes around?
It's kind of like bad karma. If you've done something bad, bad will come back to you.
Exactly, okay? So, I did something bad happened to me. It's fair game. What can I say? I'm not going to complain.
You get what you deserve.
You get what you deserve. Exactly. So the last one is to always respect the bus driver. Okay?
Okay.
So again, I think this is a bit more just life advice. Again, just, respect people and don't be horrible to people. But in London, they take this to another level, though, I believe, don't they, Boom Boom?
With the sort of where you're meant to stand in relation to the bus driver,
Well,
or the barrier, the sort of the
Yeah,
barrier?
there's a barrier, but from what I remember,
Yeah.
you're not allowed to talk to the bus driver. And times when I have tried
Yeah.
to talk to the bus driver, they have just completely ignored me. I just think, look, can you just not say one thing? So is this I don't know, the next stop for me? It just doesn't say anything. I just think, look, I'm showing you
Yeah.
respect. Give me some respect, you fucking bastard.
I think, yeah, if you're asking about the next stop, sure, they should respond. If you're asking about, the last night's football match, then let them do their job. And I know how much you like talking about football, so I was wondering then if that's what you'd done.
Yeah, well, I'm not really one to strike up a conversation with bus drivers. So it's rock and roll vocabulary, to strike up, to start a conversation. Although I do remember once when I was in Italy and a friend of ours had come out to see me, and I thought I can sort of show off a bit here. So to show off is like to try to look good in front of people. And so I was trying to look good in front of my friend. I was trying to show off. And we were on a boat. And I thought, I'll talk to the boat driver in Italian just to show how good my Italian is. And I said to the boat driver, I was like, oh, so you drive the boat then? And he just said, yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, well, I'll see you
Good.
later.
I'm sure you impressed him though with your Italian. So
That was the only time I tried to strike up a conversation with any kind of driver, and it was a very bad experience. So I can assure everyone that will never happen again.
did you then go to sort of other people in the boat and say, that bloke over there, he does drive the boat. That's
You'll never guess what he does. You'll never guess. He's been driving the boat. Yeah. Anyway, on that note, I think it's time to say goodbye.
Yes. Yep. Cheers, Martin.
So
Thanks again.
Remember to respect people. Boom, boom. Wash before you get on public transport.
Yeah. I think probably those rules can just be summed up with just respect other people.
Well, that's
Yeah.
it. Okay.
Yeah.
Respect and love to all. What a podcast
Yeah.
this is, hey? Anyway, I'll see you later.
Cool. Cheers. Bye-bye.
See ya. Okay, so that was me and Boom Boom speaking about buses and coaches. So let's look at some of that rock and roll vocabulary. We had stuck in a rut. If you are stuck in a rut, you are in a bad run, bad form, let's say. Classic example of football. If a football team keeps losing, you can say they're stuck in a bit of a rut at the moment. They just can't win. We had the phrase verb come up with when Boom Boom said he will come up with a review. So that's like to think of an idea. Generally used for that, actually. Come up with an idea, come up with an excuse are the most common ones. Boom Boom said again, you kept me in the dark. I think we had that last week. Remember, that means you didn't tell me. We also had some rock and roll grammar when I'd said I'd been walking around all day. Some past perfect continuous there, baby. Oh yeah. Used because it came before another action. And what was I trying to emphasize? The time. I'd been walking around all day. The duration. We also had the word kip. A kip is a sleep. And speaking of sleep vocabulary, we had nod off. When you nod off, it's like when you're in the process of falling asleep, in the phase between normal and sleep, somewhere in the middle. We had the term etiquette again, which are like the unwritten rules. Boom Boom said on the bus it can be a bit of a minefield. So remember, a minefield is like a field with bombs in. So there's danger everywhere. So we use it as a metaphor sometimes to say, yeah, it's a bit of a minefield on that bus. You know, you can touch someone there. There are bombs everywhere. It's a minefield. We had the term stank, which is the past of stink. If something stinks, it smells very badly. We had the term fart. Remember, fart is when you go and there's a bad smell that comes out your ass. We also had the term something fishy going on. If something fishy is going on, it's something strange. Not the most informal way to talk, but it's not offensive and it's actually quite funny. We had the term pioneers. Pioneers, like the first people to do things. I'm trying to think of an example, but I'm not really cultured enough to think of one. We had the term nick. If you nick something, you steal something. But that is slang, okay? That's not a very formal way to talk. Again, it's not offensive, but not very formal. We had crutches. So they're generally used if you break your leg or something. How do you walk? You use those things. What are they called? Crutches, baby. Oh, yeah. We had a lovely piece of rock and roll vocabulary when I said what goes around comes around, which basically means if you're horrible to someone, then something horrible will happen to you. It's like karma. What goes around comes around. We had the term strike up a conversation. If you strike up a conversation, it's you start a conversation. Just try to memorize that as a chunk of language. Strike up a conversation. It's quite a common thing to say. Don't try and strike up a car, for example, because if you think strike up means start, like start a conversation, so you think, start a car. I'm going to strike up this car. Just use it for this. Strike up a conversation. We also had the phrasal verb to show off. When you show off, it's like you want to demonstrate how good you are in front of people. Generally something teenagers do. Lots of adults do it as well. If I say to you, oh, look at my Ferrari, that's fantastic. What am I doing? I'm showing off. And just so you know, I haven't got a Ferrari. I haven't even got a car. Anyway, remember, all of the rock and roll vocabulary is on the website, rockandrollenglish.com. Go there, do the quiz. The quiz is actually there. I know last week it wasn't. I said I will do it in the evening. I didn't. Sorry about that. It actually takes a long time to. It takes like an hour, and then I completely forgot about it. So again, I apologise for that. A lot of apologising on today's show. Unfortunately, I am a human, so mistakes often do happen. You're a human as well. There's not much we can do about it, except to keep on rocking, people. See you next week.
Thanks so much for listening to Rock and Roll English. For more great content and to stay up to date, visit rockandrollenglish.com and facebook.com/rockandrollenglish. We'll catch you next time.